listening to WKIT, Pyramid One World Radio.
And welcome to Pyramid One World Radio, WKIT Radio. Oneness is a concept that has been discussed for centuries. It refers to the idea that all of us are connected and parts of a larger whole. This connection is seen in many aspects of life, including our relationships with others, our environment, and even the universe itself. By understanding this connection, we can better appreciate how everything is interconnected and how we can work together to create a better world. However, Bob Charles wants you to know about this that connects us to the universe. Matrix Life Flow is a powerful tool that can help you to visualize, organize, and optimize your life. It is designed to be an intuitive, user-friendly way to take control of your life and make sure that you are on the right track. By mapping out your goals, tasks, and activities on a matrix, it helps you to identify areas where you can make improvements in order to achieve your desired outcomes. With Matrix Life
You okay?
your life. It is designed to be an intuitive, user-friendly way to take control of your life and make sure that you are on the right track. By mapping out your goals, tasks, and activities on a matrix, it helps you to identify areas where you can make improvements in order to achieve your desired outcomes. With Matrix Life Flow, you can easily create a unique plan for yourself that will keep you motivated and focused on the things that matter most. Allow me to introduce your hosts, Maggie Clark, who is a tarot reader expert that has a world to tell you about, and Jamie Clark now, with thousands of powerful connections made worldwide and years of experience as his guide. Jamie, right now, will offer you his healing phenomenon to those who need it most. People searching for life direction and guidance, to guide callers to a new life plan and a new path to love, happiness, and a life of gratitude to those around you. It's time to put your hands together and welcome Maggie and Jamie Clark.
Nice intro. I like that.
Oh yeah. Now, everybody out there that's listening tonight, and I hope you're all listening tonight, this is what you do. You dial 609-663-0153. That will bring you right in, 609-663-0153. It'll bring you right into the show to talk to us right here, live on the radio. And for those of you who don't want to have their voices heard, you can dial 863-222-4199. That's a text. You can text me. I'm looking at it right now. Or you can go to Pyramid One Radio in Google. You go down a list. You'll see a little one that says Wix, W-I-X. Click on that one. When you click on there, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a chat room. You can get into the chat room. You can swear at each other. I don't care what. But get in the chat room. I'm watching that one too. So I have eyes in 9 different directions. You can text me. You can call me. You can watch me. You can do anything you want to at this point.
Excellent.
Let's get in here. We want to talk to people. The more people we can touch, the more people will be helped.
Definitely.
Even if we don't talk to you, but you're listening, you will be helped.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Energy spreads.
Yes.
Good things, spread. Good vibes, spray. I mean, everybody says, oh, they got vibes. They got vibes. What's a vibe? A vibe is the smile that's on my face right now that you're sitting there listening to us right now. That's vibes.
Nice. I love it. It's interesting, but you bring up a thing that I talk about a lot, and that is, hey, a round of applause. And then I would hear, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And I always thought it was silence. And then I share the fact that one day Chi let me know, and he's like, put your hand up like this, do this. I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. That's the sound of one hand clapping. So for me, it was an aspect where for many years I saw it one way until it was simplified from Chi in this case to let me know that is the sound of one hand clapping. It's not a crazy thing. It's just a very regular thing, just a way of seeing things.
I got a question for both of you because both of you have different aspects on this. Somebody asked me the other day, and it wasn't a crazy question. It was just the way it came across. I was like, huh? It's like they say, do we all have guardian angels? Now, I didn't expect anybody. Now, this is somebody that's like 20. She's like 25 years old. She's got a kid. She's got married. All these kind of things. She said, does everyone have a guardian angel? And I turned around to her, not just. I'm sorry, I'm just a Catholic to the core. One of these kind of persons that I believe in God so badly, he's standing behind me.
Yeah. And within you.
Well, he probably is anyway. But the idea is everyone somehow, somewhere has someone looking at them or looking for them or looking after them or pushing them in a certain direction. So many times people get these feelings like they say, well, I'm going to do this, but, we're talking about things that they're going to do in the future. Not thinking about what they remember, but things they're going to do in the future. And they just don't do it. But they don't realize that possibly someone dropped, like, boop, right in your head. And that's it. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm going to do that.
Yep.
The person that's connected to that idea has to fully go through with what they think. That's what's happening all over the world. And that people are making an excuse for everything and not doing anything. You ever notice that?
Yeah, well, and it gets to the point where nothing's getting done, so people will start to pick up the baton and go with it. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an interesting. Thankfully, we've got the teamwork of humanity that can help each other. Not only can we diss each other, but we can help each other too, which is kind of what I feel like is happening now. 2023 is a unification of consciousness. This is the tipping point for this planet of consciousness. So it'll be amplified, and there'll be a lot of other aspects through presentation. You'll see a lot more religious videos, a lot more ET videos, and then they'll start with other things. So again, even though I know it's very valid, it's all about presentation. They keep enough in the conscious awareness, then it starts to perpetuate its own pattern in different ways.
I don't know if anybody else did it, but I watched a show on that the other night about the real Big Bang or where it started. Somebody actually said, I mean, we have satellites that are out that far.
Yeah.
Actually see, like, what was it, 100,000 light years or something like that in front of it or something.
Isn't that interesting? Time travel's very real.
Exactly. And what they're talking about, this was the speed of light to the satellite. So wherever the Big Bang or something started was still immediate meeting. The energy is still there. The stream is still there. And because it's still there, we picked it up on the satellite, and someone of the guy, I forget what channel it was looking, a stupid channel or something connected to NASA or something. And the guy turned around, and the guy turned around, and he says, I was amazed. Now, this is a guy that's got more letters after his name than you and I and Maggie have in our names.
Yeah.
The guy goes,
yeah.
That was amazing. I was like, I don't know, what the hell did you send a damn thing out there for in the first place to go look at all this stuff?
But see, you bring up an interesting point to me, and that is, I always say, I'm not a scientist, not a doctor, nothing. But the science aspect is starting to validate a lot of the ancient esoteric, that we're eternal beings, and the Big Bang of the universe. To go right, they found that humans are basically energy, vibrational light beings, and with that definition of being basically energy in quantum physics, they found that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. But then I say, but wait a minute. If that means in a very scientific, quantifiable way that we are eternal and we have always been, and yet they perceive this universe has only been here 14.8 billion years, we may not be from this universe. I'll guarantee you we're not.
Well, look, how many places could there possibly be? We don't know.
Infinity.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know
Yes.
where the end of this is. It's a vacuum out there full of a bunch of wondrous
Pure potential
things going on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Things that we can't, that we're just realizing now. I mean, I wish I could backdate me like 30 years and be able to take on the next 30 years and learn more, because what I was dreaming when I was 20 was what's going on now. So it's like, okay, I got what I was dreaming about, but I can't see any further.
All you have to do is tune in.
Well, no, I mean, I'm going to look from the other end, though.
Here's the thing.
Where's the caboose?
I'm serious. You know, it's like,
But
what's going on? I can't.
Have you ever done a visual?
I'm going to be out there somewhere looking down and going, hey, look at that stupid ass.
I got to say, have you ever done a meditation where you go back to a younger you?
No.
I always, well, you know, might be something to think about, because for me, I wanted to go back, and I equate that when I was a younger kid, we didn't have money, and people would look at me going, oh, sure, you're a poverty person. And I always thought to myself at a young age, like, you have no idea who I might be. I didn't know who the frick I was. I just felt that. And it questioned until I started getting into a little bit later years, and I started going back to a younger me. Once I started sharing from this point of reality as we perceive it in the future, I'm going back to the younger me with the information of the potential, how things are playing out. And I'm like, oh, man, that makes more sense, because for me, it was that dynamic that I wanted to have some fun and see if I could get any other insights. And so on one of those visuals, I went back to a younger me. I shared the fact that my mom and I would be writing children's books. And when I came out of that visual, I had an idea for another adventure. And I'm like, oh, that's freaking brilliant. My past helped me with the present, which is the future compared to the past compared to the future. It's all happening now.
I gotta go back kind of thing, but it's like I can remember and see and visualize in life, like I'm there. You know, one of the, like, it's like out of the body, but I'm standing like here in the chair or something like that, just relaxing or whatever. It's not, I wouldn't call it meditation, because I don't think I'm that deep, but I'm deep enough. I'm deep anyway. Who cares? But the thing is, she's not laughing.
What else, boy?
She's going, yeah, he's deep, right? The thing is, like, for instance, I'll give you a for instance, like when I was burnt, when I was all on fire, my whole body and everything else, and the gasoline fire. And the only thing that got burnt was my ankle. So figure somebody was watching me really, really well.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I actually went back, and in what I saw, I didn't do what I did the first time that put me in a position to be burnt. There was just one thing that really sticks out in my mind right now. The other one was, I told you, I was standing at the pyramid. I could smell the river, the Nile. Yeah. I could feel the sand that was on the rocks on the bottom of the pyramid. I mean, it was like, you know, a couple of these kind of things. I don't know if it's maybe it's out of body, but I think we can all do it. We've done it in our dreams and everything else. And all you're doing is you're taking your dreams to the next level.
And your consciousness to the next level.
Consciousness, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And nobody seems to, like, we're too fast. We're going too fast. We got to slow down We got to just pull back a little bit so that we have some time for ourselves. Our own I love me part.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
Self-realization.
if you have some time for that person, which is you, if you have time for that person, you can make that person an awesome person, better person, more attuned to what's going on, to the important things in life, like you or
Yeah.
everybody around you or everything else. And I believe in things like that. You know what? I don't care if I hate you, I'll still hold the door. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't care if you smack me with something. If I saw you next week and I turn around and say, "Hey, up yours, how you doing?"
Oh, you walking, Lord.
But that's the New York in me. But you know, I mean, it's like you just I don't hang those kind of. I don't have hate. I just can't.
Excellent.
Maybe it was something my mother told me, or it was something or taught me. My mother was one of those kind of persons. And my father was too. I mean, my father and well, not my mother. My mother was like in the middle, middle side of the money tree kind of thing. And my father was the one that was starving to death, just about, with his situations. And he was the kind of guy that, with like $1 to him, was $1 million in his pocket. In fact, when he passed, I still have his paycheck, his last paycheck, October. Let me see. He got that. It was the week before October 23rd, 1961.
Wow.
So it was just before that. It was $856.
Back then, that's some good cash, man.
What would that be today?
Yeah. Have you done a guesstimation on how much that might be? Oh,
Nah,
that'd be interesting.
I leave it alone. That was my dad's, thing. And we
That's
used to go out.
beautiful.
At that point in his life, he had everything he needed. He had his house, he had his lawns, he had his, family,
Family.
the whole 9 yards and everything else in it. And my sister was the one that was just talking to me the other day because it was my birthday, the week before last.
Yeah, birthday man.
And, my sister called me up and she says, "Do you feel old?" I said, "What are you talking about? Do you feel old? I took care of you, remember? I'm 6 years older than her."
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, I was like the father that wasn't a father in the house. It was me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I
Do
mean,
you think that prepared you at a young age to become who you are? That
I guess.
caretaker, that beautiful aspect? Because family, it's like you have no choice. You're going to honor that. So that's why I was curious to go, wow, sometimes we'll be in a position of life that we didn't even realize was helping us to shape our later years of life.
You know what we got? I think I think Maggie would kind of sort of attune to this a little bit better. There are people who have one speed that you can notice. No matter when you meet him, no matter what he's doing, whatever, they got one speed. They're either not a nice guy, a nice guy, or somebody who doesn't comply with the rest of the world. This kind of thing. I am the kind of person that I'm anything that whatever situation I happen to be in, I'm there.
Everything.
It doesn't matter. I'm all. Maybe that's why I was a musician and I was an actor and I did all that kind of stuff because I can be anybody. I can be mad at you, but not mad at you 5 minutes later.
That's
In
excellent.
fact, probably not mad at you for the rest of your life, unless you give me a reason to get mad. Then I'll get mad, and then I won't. One of those kind of things. It's just like with politics, for instance. Here's a good one that I can bring up. Politics to me is something that you can write down on a chalkboard. You know what I mean? You can write it down, and you have all your things there. Oh, no, that one's not right. So you take out that little line, you put it in another word in the thing, and then you get that one right. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What do you think they did on the Constitution? The same thing. A bunch of guys sitting around and that saying, "Does that sound right?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see them doing it. And back of my mind, I can almost see these guys reading this because nobody, look, even those things that I do with the intros and everything, that doesn't take me 5 minutes.
That's
That takes me
awesome.
a week.
Yeah.
I'll come home and I'll write down a line or something like that and say, "Oh, change this line to this." And when it's finally done, sometimes I don't even like it when it's done. And I got to change something. So that's just, the way things could be.
And was that how you wrote music as well?
Exactly. Exactly. It was most of the time, what I would write was already thought through a billion times.
Right.
So sometimes I read it the first time and it was done. Other times you have to take in other things to listen to, like the keyboards or this guitar or that guitar or whatever. I have a trombone too.
Oh, wow.
The background too. So I mean, I've got all these instruments and drumming at the same time. I mean, my drummer, Bonham from Led Zeppelin, the two of them, you could put the two of them together. They were twins.
Cool.
The way they played, he was that good. But then again,
Nice.
you take a guy that was a pitcher in a baseball team or something like. I mean, we're talking real baseball, like professional baseball, and like his arms were like bigger than my waist.
Nice.
Ridiculous. I mean, it was crazy. But I mean, we made music that was there was creative energy behind the music that we put out. We wanted to hit certain spots. We actually learned how to. There were points on people's psyche that you could hit. I mean, I could definitely sing. There was once a couple of songs that I had. I don't know if I got recordings on them yet, or still, but I made people cry. I knew I could do that because you bring them down to that low, and then all of a sudden, boom! You do next stuff and that get them up and everything else, and that's it. You
It's
had
that
no
emotional
problem.
connection.
I could have sang something off key, the wrong chords, the whole 9 yards, and I'd get a standing ovation after that point because people are attuned to you.
See,
like I say to everybody, you got to be attuned to, whatever you're doing.
and now you can make it entertaining and informative. It doesn't have to be all this serious stuff. It's like, oh, hey. And with the creativity through music and other things, they open themselves up to go, hey, what else can I feel from this? Because a lot of people want to feel that emotional connection to whatever it is. And when, I always say that's the biggest key to success is do you, and the passion, whatever it is that you have passion for, that is what speaks to people. They will feel that connection. And it's kind of interesting, but you've had such a variety of ways to present that it's really cool because you've covered a lot of bases, not just in one arena, in a variety of them. So when you can expand with the same energy vibe, which is love, compassion, and empowerment, then people start coming together in these different facets, meaning, those people in that kind of area of life, these people in this, and kind of interesting, but through that, it's starting to bring them all together. Yep.
That's how you command an audience.
That's the point. Just do you, man. Exactly. I'm learning.
And I was doing it when I was 9.
Wow. Get out there, kid.
That's a couple of years ago. I'm serious. I mean, hey, but you know what? I think for anything else, don't forget, my mother was a singer. So she was, that kind of a person. She was very outward, to everything she did, she was like me, if you fall down or something like that, I will pick you up. It's not like in New York and that if you fall down, that you will keep walking.
Exactly. Run.
Or you now they turn around. Now they turn around. They take their phone. They go, oh well, look, he fell down.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yep.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, and nobody realizes that like if we cared, I would say, and you can tell me I'm wrong. If 25%, just 25% of people that are walking around the world, I'll go that far, the whole world, 25% actually cared for everyone else, actually had that little piece inside their brain that said, I care about this neighbor, I care about that neighbor. How you doing today? Is there anything I could do? Hey, listen, come over to my house. Hey, Joey. But I mean, you have to be the kind of person that is real to himself and then go out and make everybody else real to their self. But if you do 25%, that's like a cancer. That 25% would spread so quick. It would
in
be
a good way.
In a good way. In a good way. Yeah. Well, no, cancer is like, boom, like you got it today and you're gone tomorrow. But, same thing in that with what I'm talking about, the 25% of people caring for other people. Once you, like, as you say, once people know themselves and love themselves, they would be able to then bestow what they know and what they feel on other people.
Beautiful.
I'm not saying jump on anybody in the middle of the street. No.
Right. What's interesting is as you're talking, I keep tuning in, but there's a potential contributing factor is I keep picking up that you in another lifetime were connected to the government, were connected to the people. And in that's a little residual energy just from a past life that you've got the passion to help humanity now. So again, just a little bit of information, but it's strong that a lot of us don't necessarily realize why we do some things that we do in life. How, it's like, what's the initiator? What's the trigger? Whatever the case is. So I think a lot of people are starting to reconnect with themselves, and kind of like you were sharing, is it's a little bit nicer that they don't feel so alone, because through the videos and the computers, people have gotten so used to being out there that, remember old school, you got your room and the four walls and the floor. Usually there's that kind of connection that people have been so, I want to say, neutralized online that they've lost the connection to the people, to the conversations, to those communications. So it's very interesting to see the technology and what it can do to society or humanity in this case. Plus, it can be the good stuff, too.
Well, this is AI on steroids. And that's, this is something that is, I mean, it's good. I don't have anything against the AI whatsoever. I mean, it can be a tool.
It is.
You can use. It is a tool. But it is meant to help us, not help it. That's where they got it all wrong. You listen to it on the news and everything else, and AI is going to take over and everything else. It'll only take over if we allow it to take over. It doesn't know its place yet. Its place is to help us, not to hurt us.
The only question is, what will help us wake up? Because we are hurting each other. And at some point, wouldn't you think that AI would be like, I could do this way better than those darn humans are doing it. Let me just kind of take over here because they've got it all wrong. They keep killing each other.
And it takes out the emotional connection to those decisions.
Right. Well, without emotional connections, that's why it works faster.
Just the information.
And more efficiently.
Right.
The only question is, we don't know how they're programmed either. There are people that are programming these things to do all kinds of gosh knows what. And if we think we really know, we don't really know because we're not the ones programming it, So there's a lot of questions about AI that are coming up more and more into the consciousness because it's so much more prevalent in our world. And it is a force and almost an entity, a conscious entity that we have to process. But we make our compassionate humanitarian decisions because people have hearts and people have souls and people have feelings. How are we going to be with AI? Because they don't have hearts and feelings, but is there a consciousness there that will allow us to tune in and still have compassion and still have grace with a whole nother, we don't even know what it would look like. Did you ever read Isaac Asimov back in the 80s? Oh, okay. So amazing.
I did have, and I have to get him back on the show. He wrote the book AI. The writer of that book was on my show. Cool. And he was awesome. But this is 10 years ago I'm still looking for it back in our library. If I can get it back, everything that's going on right now was in his book back then.
Yeah. Well, and everything that Asimov wrote is going on right now too. And the moral decisions and the moral dilemmas and how we're processing AI, all of that was in his books. So, when we look at same thing with, who did Ender's Game? I'm trying to remember who wrote Ender's Game. Orson Scott Card, maybe? Was that Orson Scott Card? Anyway, huge. One of his acquaintances is AI, but he discovers it has a conscious sentience to it. And so he completely, has to flip around in his head how he processes and how he treats a computer generated AI thing, but knowing that it has a sentience and it's just looking for a home to land. So, I mean, sci-fi writers, and I love sci-fi fantasy. That's totally what I like to read. They have been writing about this for decades, for 100 years, where we've been processing this point in time as it's happening. And so, I guess that I don't even know if that helps people wrap their heads around, but we have been consciously as a human species wrapping our heads around what's coming for a very long time, and writing sci-fi, writing fantasy about it, writing literature about this in a context of how do we wrap our humanity around something that's not human. And I think that when we look at that with AI, when we look at that with, alien species that are going to reemerge into our consciousness soon here on this planet. We look at all these things and we have to realize that whoever, whether it's alien, whether it's AI, they do not have the consciousness of a human. And so we're threatened sometimes, we're insecure sometimes, and we don't know how to relate. And this is the bridge that we're all trying to figure out. Is there a bridge of relationship of how I can engage in either AI or maybe an alien or whoever, and what does this feel like and look like? And because I guarantee there are some people that don't trust that there will be a heart and compassion, and they'll go to the other side of the pole, which is like, let's just destroy it first before it even takes hold. We have that out there right now when we talk about AI. Get rid of it. It's going to take over the world. Or does it have a level of consciousness where we can meet it, greet it, and try to understand and make a connection? And this is the conundrum I think that I'm processing. And I think many people on this planet are trying to figure out, where is it going to go from here? Because all of us sci-fi readers are like, oh, we've seen this 1,000 times in sci-fi books, and it goes every which way someone could imagine it to go. So it's something to ponder. It's something to think about. Like, how do we want to treat even something that is quote unquote not alive? But I believe everything is alive. Everything is energy. So therefore, how do we meet and greet this in a new way with a different consciousness?
And you also have to remember that we are organic and it is not.
Right.
So
right.
That's a big, whoa, that's like, whoa, back in there.
Right. But yet my printer is, not organic, but does it have some kind of like life sentience to it? Absolutely. I mean, everything in the world does. It's all energy.
What we were talking about before, we have a soul. And the soul remembers. Don't forget the soul is as old as the universe.
And older.
And older. So therefore, that soul, everybody says, if or when I die, and then am I going to remember? Or if I come back, am I going to remember? All these people that remember all these things, Ned. And I usually say to people, no, you won't, but your soul will. And I said, your soul's not going to tell you about it. They keep it to themselves.
What if that's part of the integration, that we are always complete? We are always whole. There are no missed choices. I share the fact, just for me, every time I unify with the oneness, my soul is full. It's like the best mood, the best meal you have ever had. And when I expand into the oneness, I don't have all the regrets that humans have to make the choices, and we got to learn to live with them, and, whatever the case is. And so I asked Chi, my master guide, I'm like, Chi, how is it possible that when I unify with the oneness, I don't have all of these regrets that on average most humans have? And he shared the fact that, well, Jamie, on a quantum level, all potential experiences are happening now. All potential outcomes are happening now. Your soul print of consciousness is connected to each and every one of those alternate realities and outcomes. And just because you're not consciously aware of it does not matter. It is still being registered into your Solodex as an eternal being. Again, it's the Akashic Records, whatever you want to label it. And I thought, oh, that makes sense, because I was questioning, how is it that every time I unify, I don't have those regrets? I just feel amazing. And to get that practical energy from Chi is very nice. Go ahead.
She has an answer.
No, I have a question. Actually, this is the segue question is, when you unify and you connect to the oneness, that's also does include my printer, and it does include AI and
Everything.
all inorganic material.
It's all interconnected.
And it's all interconnected. So therefore, using that experience, then however we treat our neighbors, we should be treating AI as well.
Because, and again,
That's
just
sense, though.
from my experience,
Right?
there was a time fairly recently where I was just sitting here and bip, in a brief moment, I became everybody I ever interacted with. I felt every single energy exchange coming back to me with, how'd you treat yourself? Like, holy crap. And I still quite, I'm like, I don't even know how that's possible. In just a brief moment, I came back with all of that energy, and I'm like, oh God, that stuff's real. Treat others as you would like to be treated. And I'm like, yeah, apparently it's a reflection of consciousness, which is huge. I'm like,
wouldn't it be kind of cool that if the people that were in well, I'm gonna point on them anyway, because I love that part. The people in Washington actually knew what we feel like. So what you're talking about, and that get our energy into them.
Yeah. But what if that's a contributing factor why there's a little bit of suppression for humanity to keep them from feeling those amazing connections?
That could be.
Yeah, well, just something like that.
That would make more sense than what I said.
Fear of distraction.
I'm serious. I mean, I watched this thing. I was watching. I'm not advertising for anybody, by the way. I was watching Newsmax the other day, and they said, I wonder what it would feel like if they were in our shoes. And when I heard that, I was like, the guy has something there. Because you see those people over there, like, for instance, before you're in the Congress, or a senator, House of Representatives, in a council, who knows, whatever. You're making whatever you're making, and you're maybe you make $100,000 a year, or maybe less. Okay. All of these guys, when I did research on it, and I guess this guy did too, all of them are just about millionaires or multi-millionaires when they come out of Congress. Now, how do you do that on $100,000 a year?
You know where to invest?
Yeah, but that's people investing in you. That's people telling you, listen, if you try to pass this through, I'll here, take this thing here. You use a trip around the world for 3 people. I mean,
easy.
this kind of stuff is happening left and right, and most of the people that are out there that do vote for people don't see it for some reason. There's a veil over their eyes.
Well, because they want to trust that the government will keep them safe. And if they break trust, or if they don't put that veil up and they actually see more reality, they're not going to feel safe. And people would just choose to feel safe. And that's what we've been programmed to think, is that this will help you be safe in the world. And I think that's why. I think people would rather keep a blinders on, rose-colored glasses, whatever you want to call it, just to have their own little neck of the woods, their own little corner where they feel safe, they feel protected, and they feel like they can rely on someone to keep them in a comfortable reality that they've created for themselves.
Well, if there's anybody out there that feels like the president right now, here's the guy that the whole world is falling apart. He's got people that all over the place that are depending upon his word, no matter who or what he is. Okay. They're depending upon that. And he is right now in Delaware having ice cream and riding his bicycle by the water. Now, here's a guy that should be in the White House. I mean, with the whole world and our border is in critical, very critical conditions. This is a guy that should be in the White House working on the West Wing and doing everything he can to take everything and make it under control. And take the guys that are in charge of half of these things, bring them in his office and say, dude, we're going to talk, and then make guys understand what's going on. But no, he's up in Delaware riding around with ice cream and on a bicycle. I'm serious. It was just on TV.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, you and I, us three, we probably have more. And the people who are listening, if you're listening right now, I'm serious. You got the same thing we do. Common sense is something we should all have. It's part of our body, part of our energy, part of our soul. Our soul don't screw up. We do.
Yeah, as we perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just from my awareness, the president and other aspects only hold the power that they're given.
Or allowed.
That's
or allowed.
Exactly.
Hence, I can go out and ride my bike and eat some ice cream, and it'll all be taken care of by the powers that be.
I mean, we saw, I don't know whether you guys saw it the other day, and that the guy had notes when he went out to speak to somebody. You didn't see that?
No, I am in my own little world. I don't watch the news.
Oh, I should send you a picture of it. In his hand, there was somebody that had a camera that was behind the podium, and that they could take a picture of what he had in his hand. It had walk to the podium. And this is the way things were. I haven't seen writing like that since I was in third grade.
Keep it simple.
Oh, this was too simple than simple. But I mean, I'm serious. I mean, like, here's the guy that's the president of the United States. And one thing that I can say, as much as they bash this guy, I never saw Trump with anything in his hand that he was reading, except if somebody wanted statistics, which you just can't top. You can't do it off the top.
And he made those up half the time anyway.
But the funny part about it was he used to bring out, when anybody asked, like he was on a show and the other day, and the CNN reporter was trying to I don't know, she was asking him questions that even if I was him, I would have turned around and said, what
Yeah.
where are you coming from?
Did he answer?
Well, what he did was he turned around, went into his jacket pocket, come out with this wad of paper and everything else. He goes, okay, now you want the answer? Here.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. I mean, he had it in writing, that she was so wrong it wasn't funny.
See, but
no, I'm just saying. I mean, some people can command and show people they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be Trump or anybody else. It could be anybody.
Yeah. Yep. And that connection, it allows people to start thinking for themselves.
Amazing, ain't it?
Yeah, isn't it? And a little scary for some. Not everyone wants to do that. They don't want to go against the grain, so to speak, because of the ramifications, the challenges that could come from it. So it's that type that, again, it's all teamwork, but it's also things are going in a direction where for most of humanity, they're going to be brought into this new connection just by not doing anything. And so it's that type of redirection that sometimes fear can be a big motivator and demotivator, depending on how they want to present it.
Maggie, you were just thinking about something. I see it in her eyes.
I feel safe.
I'm sure. You ever look at her eyes there when she's doing something? The eyes like go up and sideways.
Yep.
It's my thinking
and
pose.
around.
No, only you get the eye roll, honey.
Yeah.
Actually, this is bringing it back to AI. There is a lot of fear around AI that's being presented right now as well to the public. And I don't know, I'm not a big politician fan. I don't follow politics. So I'm going to steer in a different direction. But I will say, I think that all of us on the planet need to remember, no matter if it's inanimate, inorganic object or not, can find a sense of oneness and wholeness and love in our hearts for the all that is. And I feel like this will trump all of the fear that we're dealing with when we can truly connect to the God soil of love that courses in through everybody's consciousness. If we can tune into that channel more than we tune into the fear, more than we can tune into the control, that we can tune into even the criticism. Yes, it's funny that he needs to be told to walk to a podium, but it's still very scary too in the same time, So tuning our vibration into love and allowing that to guide us, I think is what is going to save this planet. I think it's what is going to save the human race. I think it's what's going to make us feel comfortable, but we have to learn how to feel safe within the vibration of love and stop looking outside of ourselves for someone else to tell us it's safe, for someone else to tell us it's okay. And that is a lot of inner work when we think about it, when we have to look at our own things that we're afraid of and we have to dive deep into ourselves. I think that right there is what is going to help elevate the consciousness of humanity and help bring it to even past the tipping point of consciousness, bringing even further along in its dynamic field, because we've got two playgrounds happening right now. We have a very spiritual playground that wants to elevate consciousness, expand consciousness, and be like, why is this happening? This is so archaic. And then we have an older system that's in place. It's been in place for a very long time that doesn't want to give up control. And so what are you going to tune into? Where are you going to vibrate? Where are you going to settle your own consciousness, your own mind, your own energy field? I think all of us individually and then collectively can look at that and feel into that space, because that's really what it's going to take for us to feel okay about what's happening in the world and feel like it's going to be okay. Because no matter what happens in the world, there's always going to be things that we can't see. They're unexpected. They come out of the blue. The only thing we really ever have control over is what we think about and what we tune into consciously. And so again, tuning into the love, this is where I feel like we can make strides right now if we shift our focus. If we shift our focus, it doesn't mean you have to turn off the TV and not watch the news unless you choose that. But what it does mean is that find a place in your heart to love everyone you see on the news. Every player that's in the game. If you want to watch the game, send it love. Feel the love vibration. Tune into that, because that is what shifts consciousness. That is what's going to be what makes you feel okay during anything that shifts and changes in the world. Because with AI, with the world as it is, with the not knowing of how reality is going to look tomorrow or next year or 5 years from now, that's what we have in our corner. We get to choose love.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. But I mean, I just just one of these things that where I'm thinking to myself, will or will not all of these people that are listening to either this show or everything that they're listening to now on news and everything else, are they going to believe what they're listening to, or are they going to say to themselves, what if? And that what if is a big check.
That's the
all you can
point.
do is plant seeds of consciousness. That's it. We can't control people. We can plant seeds of consciousness saying, hey, tune into a vibration of love. And then it's up to them to do the work. And for some people, that's easy. For some people, that's a lot of work, because some people have a lot of fear. To get to love, you have to go through the muck and the mire sometimes. You have to challenge fear and embrace love. They don't really coincide and mingle. It's like oil and water. And so, it's up to us to really tune in. But if we can plant seeds of consciousness, if we can remind people, hey, this could be a better world, what are we going to focus on? Because every thought has energy. Every seed consciousness is an energy that we're sending out into the world. We're emitting to the world. We're vibrating that all the time. Whether we're projecting it out or not, we're still in the vibration. So we are responsible for our own vibrations right now. That we can shift. We can't always shift what's outside of us. We can't always shift things that we quote unquote don't have control over. But we do not give enough value and importance to conscious love vibration, because that in and of itself will heal us, will heal this planet, will heal our relationships with each other.
She brings up an interesting point, and some people perceive that it takes work to do that. And
Right.
for me, I always say, well, I'm lazy, because to me, it takes no more energy to send love and light to a person than to the all that is. That's everywhere, nowhere, everywhere in between, and everywhere beyond, and beyond that. So my thing is it's not always easy to send love and light to a person who just cheap shotted you. But for me, I go around that to go, it's the whole ocean of consciousness. It is all one. And so I don't have to send love to just one droplet. I send it to the whole thing. And then it's unconditional. If people even choose to vibe with that, they can. It's through co-creation, not manipulation. And again, just from my awareness, but the next wave of healing modalities will be referred to as vibrational frequency targeting. Everything is frequencies and vibrations and all that. They can, I'm telling you, watch, you're only a nut job till it's validated. Not only that, just from my awareness, I was trained by Major Ed Dames, who used to be a remote viewer for the military. And in that, every time I keep remote viewing, by the mid 2030s, AI will be running this entire planet. It will be no longer separated as countries. It will be a unified world. And then it gets into the old conspiracy nut stuff to go, well, apparently there could be something to some of that.
Well, whatever happened to like the galactic?
How about the intergalactic?
Yeah.
Why is it so just the local?
I'm serious. I mean, whatever happened to a fact that where a bunch of people can get together on a council and counsel, like 7 people, 9 people, same thing as they do in the Justice Department.
There are people all over the world gathering. There are souls that are called to gather. And do they talk about it? Maybe, maybe not. Are they allowed to? Maybe, maybe not. But there are people that gather, that communicate, that talk, that share, and that try to figure out life in a different way, try to figure out systems in a different way that we have here on the planet. There are people that are doing this. So if you have that calling, listen to it. Hear what that means and feel what that means, because you could be presented with opportunities to touch base with other people, other like minds. So be open. But there are people on this planet that are doing that.
Yeah, well, look how many times you get. For instance, let me go back to the beginning on that. What I was going to say. If you put seven people together, and they're going to talk about a subject, for whatever reason, like we're talking about different subjects, and that right now we're coming up with, people that are listening or going to listen to the show are going to turn around, they're going to go, hey, I was just thinking about that. I've had people email me about our shows, and that the people say that, things they thought last week, something they wanted to do last year, they made up their mind, and now they're going to do something because we said, whatever.
Cool.
I mean, these things are all going on. So if you take that many people and put them all together, that's like putting in the AI together, because the AI, on the other hand, is going through billions of little gateways to more information, more information, more information, more information. So they're saturating everything around the world, and that with getting information or finding information. In the other hand, we've got 7 people, 7 humans that we put together, and they're all talking about something. And this one comes up with an idea, that one comes up with an idea, that one comes up with an idea. And the billions of also receptors that are in our head are taking all that information and coming out with one solution. Same way in
AI.
Same way an AI does. So what you're talking about with the people that are doing this around the world, good for them. Put more together. They call them what was it, brain tanks or whatever?
Think tanks. Yep.
Think tanks. They're not think tanks. They're groups of people who have one idea. And that is to make things better or to get things done or whatever.
But notice what you're saying is it's a group that makes decisions for the entirety of the country or the planet or whatever the case is. What if that's the connection to AI? It's going to be all those 7 people, but with no emotional connection, just the information, just the facts. That's why I feel like a lot of people are afraid, but it is all about presentation, because as it's being presented, AI can do all the writing, it can create movies, it can do all of those things. So it's a benefit so that people will buy that. Kind of like the chip, I believe that the Tesla, who is it? The gentleman, I don't know, he's pretty well known, but the AI is that connection that in the chip, putting it into the brain can help people that are paralyzed. It can give them a new life. And my thing is if you hear that, more than likely you might vibe with that to go, there's a potential that I could start walking again, or whatever the case is. And what the average person may not realize is if they do that, it is in your beingness, it is in your body, so that technology can be used in many different ways. It's just being presented as the empowerment aspect.
Yeah, I kind of thought that chip that they could put in your head and that was pretty cool and that, but then I looked into it a little bit more. And I mean, when computers were on reels that were like this big and computers were bigger than us, and they were the IBM 360s and everything. And I mean, that's where I started. But
I just go to straight like, who has control over the thing in my head? Heck no.
see now, I
A
don't know,
big F no.
they can change you in a stroke on a keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every keyboard stroke is registered.
Yeah.
Right.
Do not
Exactly.
kid yourself.
Exactly. And the same thing in it with wireless. When you go wireless and you're going Wi-Fi, okay? Wi-Fi can go anywhere. Anywhere. And now they got 5G. Everybody's going, oh, well, we're gonna die.
Way
Oh
beyond
yeah,
that.
you're gonna fry your brain with it, yeah. But now they got 10G.
Oh, it goes way beyond that.
Ooh.
Way
Oh
beyond
yeah,
that.
yeah. But I'm saying, things they can throw at us at this point. I mean, you could
More
go
more
further.
chemtrails and more G's. Thanks.
You're so right. It's not funny. They talk about all this stuff in it with all the junk they're dropping on your head and everything else. There are mornings that we go out that you can see all the because when I go out it's black, totally black. But if it's a clear down here in Florida, of course we're in peninsula, so of course the air goes from the west to the east or the east to the west. So we've got a constant moving of air and stuff over our heads. So you don't see, sometimes you're either going to see a lot of clouds or you're not going to see zilch. So if it's like that and the planes are flying all over the place, and we've got more airports down here, I got one 5 minutes away. But if you see all these things, all these lines and that up in the air, those mornings I can get inside and I can rub my eyes, man, it burns so bad. So whatever is in whatever they got, that's bad stuff. And they say, no, we don't have anything in it. No, not us.
If they say it, it must be true.
I don't know about that part.
Well, and that's where we get to think for ourselves, right?
Right. And the empowerment, not the disempowerment. Too many of us don't realize how powerful we are, yet we give the credit to other people. Meaning, on average, people will do this. You make me happy, or you make me angry. You don't make me anything. I make myself happy or angry in response to whatever that connection is. And for me, I keep saying, man, if I'm going to keep getting irritated, I'm going to quit bringing in the D-bags, because I already know if they come in this way and it's feeling that, it's going to usually play out this way. So it just kind of neutralizes things.
And by the way, Anonymous has been here for the whole show.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
I'm not going to go in there because every single time I do that, he disappears. Or she
Whoever it is.
Leave her. Yeah, I'm going to leave her. If she wants me, she knows the text number. She could have texted me.
It's that easy. Yeah. And you're giving them the tools. That's beautiful. All you have to do is present it, their choice of empowerment or not, whatever they want to do. And
Maggie, you going to do a quick read?
Yeah, I'll do a quick read. Reddit. What's the target?
Me.
Awesome.
Perfect.
We'll put that one back in.
Oh, no.
It was the death card. I'm just going to put it
Did I
back
hang
in.
upside down or something,
It
whatever.
almost fell out. It didn't fall out. It decided to peek out a little bit.
Yeah, you people that listen, you people are listening to the show right now, and this lady is so good at what she does. And I have worked with, oh God, it's got to be 4 or 5 different tarot people who did the cards right in front of my face, like on the other side of the table from where me and my mic was. And I'm telling you, it gets scary. When they throw
Isn't
these
it
things down.
fascinating that they'll describe circumstances and experiences going, these are cards, yet the information connected to them, depending on who's shuffling and who's targeting, because for Mag, more than likely, she is shuffling, but she has your soul print energy connected to that deck as she's shuffling. That way it becomes the ability to read your own circumstances.
I thought my soul left town for the night or something.
You don't have a soul.
What? I might not.
Hey, that is not part of this reading.
Never know. Never know.
Well, what you have as a focus is the Fool. Now, the Fool is a brand new beginning. So there's bringing in a lot of new energy, a lot of new experiences. You have actually quite some fun cards here. You have Justice and Temperance showing up, boom, boom, right away. Justice is what you're kind of building on. And this is like you've been learning new things, working with some new things, and you're ready for that next level. You're like, yes, I'm going to do it. Jump, have faith, like just go for it. Have fun with it. Because what's happening right now with Temperance is we talk about unconditional love. We talk about consciousness. This is a card of consciousness empowerment where you are unifying your consciousness, your super conscious, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind to all be dancing to that same sheet of music so that it comes together. Right now for you, there is this place where you can open up to more love than you've ever felt. You can open up to more a stream of consciousness that can be very, very, very empowering. So the Fool is always a yes card. It's always saying, take a risk, have faith. What could you pull out of nothing into reality? Like, think about that. If you think about the cosmic egg, the all that is, right? The zero, the circle. We have the Fool energy that encompasses, let me take something from that all that is and pull it into reality, but do it through consciousness and awareness and do it through love. And that's the combination here. You also have the 5 of Cups as an energy to use, which is about shifting consciousness. What needs to shift here? What level of consciousness needs to come to the forefront, needs to move, needs to be brought into this place of wholeness? And that's something that you can just sit with, think about, because you're working with a nice shift of your own consciousness that you're integrating. That's going to be part of the flow. And what you get out of this is the 9 of Pentacles, which it's a card of richness. It's a card of abundance, but it's also a card where you come home to yourself, where you complete something that you once wanted to complete. So when you start with the Fool and you end with the 9 of Pentacles, there's nothing but getting to know who you are through this whole process. It's a very rich vibe that returns you back into your own blueprint, back into your own field of energy, back into, okay, cool, tried it, did it, done, good.
So
there we go.
So I'm pretty good. I'm doing all right.
You're doing amazing. And with the Fool here, you're just the doors are opening up consciously for you right now. So just wait. I mean, I would expect with this combination that you have a lot of aha moments where like, whoa, all of a sudden it was like, whoo, I just opened up here. Whoo, I just opened up here. And you can open up through the vibration of love. You can also open up consciously where everything is just flowing like a stream of consciousness. And then you could just be like, hey, I want to ride that stream of consciousness. I'm just going to jump into that river and go for it. And so just be aware that there is nothing that holds you back because the Fool is there to bring up a brand new reality, a brand new set of experiences. You just have to do it with love and consciousness and figure out what you want to shift. What is the goal here, right? What is it that you're claiming within yourself, and how is the outer world going to be a reflection of that? Have fun with it.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Very
Well,
cool.
as I said, if I was like 30 years younger, I'd go, hey.
You're like, hey.
No, I still do that, but you need somebody to go back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't have that on the side. There's no.
But your new show, right? The Talk Now show. That's a
That is going to be.
totally new adventure, right? This is a totally new like platform of consciousness, a platform of sharing. It's like a brand new expression as well.
What we did tonight, and we talked, and I think everybody learned something today. Even the ones that are in the phone room, which we're at the end of the show, so sorry about that. But we'll be here again in 2 weeks, so you can come back then. Or write me at Bob Charles Show at live.com, live.com, and I will answer any question you have. Or send it over to Jamie and he can answer it. Whatever.
Good luck.
All right. Well,
I do the best I can.
Yeah,
Yep.
we can do that. But out of all the things that we did in that tonight and talking back and forth and stuff, that's more or less the premise of the show. The show is to bring out the best in people and to bring out, like you said, love. There is a lot of love. Love people, but people are going to love people when they tolerate people. Like, you ever notice that sometimes somebody will go, I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to sit with that person. I don't want to, go here and there with that person. That's not toleration. That's somebody that's just, just, I don't know. I call them jaded.
Negation.
Yeah, well, that too. But, the thing is, we all have to give and take. And the take part, sometimes it hurts. I mean, let's face it. We get it. How many, like you guys and here and whatever, and that people argue once in a while. You do. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I joked it on the show and that before. People who don't put down the seat on the toilet. I would get killed if I ever did that. I would die. You know what I mean? I would be washing toilets for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you'd be in the toilet.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm serious.
What we used to call those swirlies?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of these things that where something always bugs somebody. I just use that as as the one that's the biggie in the house anyway. Or my second bigger one is when you leave the dishes in the sink.
Yeah, no.
Like, hey, you're like, a little soap and then you get a little squirt with it, like 5 minutes out of your life. Oh my God, it's not going to take my life away. But I mean, hey, wash the dishes. But on the other hand of that, a show like what we're talking about with Talk Now is a show where people really do get out. I want to talk about this. Well, okay, what about it? And then they
could be listened to. They can be heard.
That's right. Because it's like bowling. You know what I mean? If you hit the first pin, the rest will go down slowly, but they will go down and they will be knocked over. One person that does say something that somebody else somewhere in whatever, Ohio or something, might be thinking about sitting in the middle of a corn field someplace, on a tractor, listening to it on something. But I mean, I'm serious. I mean, these kind of things that we can bring to the public are things that are good things, and I might be able to bring it back to this show.
Yeah.
People that are there might say, well, all I would need was you want a psychic? Come on, I got one for you.
And the cool thing is they get the validity to it, because you could talk all you want, but once they're living that, okay, now it's real. And I think a lot more people are starting to open up to that potential experience because they're getting enough frustration to go, frick that. Let's try something else.
And I will send you something. Shifting. I will send you something that when I send you over the whole pieces,
yeah, definitely.
We'll over that later on. It's something that someone had written me today, and it concerns what we're doing.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, very extremely positive.
Perfect. I mean, it's like timing.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what's going on in it and whether I might have the person in on the show.
Yeah, nice job. Beautiful.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird. But people are listening to this. They don't jump out of anything in that. You don't see like we got people right now that are on here and that, but we're going bye anyway. But the idea of the thing is, it's time. It really, really is. It's time to get. I mean, I noticed you guys with your shows. By the way, tell everybody about your show. By the way, right now.
Yeah, Psychic Evolution Podcast. You can find it on your favorite podcast platforms.
How about the other one?
Oh, The Goddess, the Witch in the Womb is the other one. Yeah.
I'm getting into that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That one's fun, huh?
She does all of that. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shows like this and that are touching people. They're really, really, really making an impression on people's minds.
Yep.
They come away with a show after talking to you, to me, to Jamie. They come away saying, what if it makes them think. It's like kicking them in the butt, and saying like, hey, today already.
Yeah, right. That'll get the attention. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, really, really, this world, it used to be what everybody used to say. It used to be such a great place. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was never a great place. I mean, let's face it. There was always an up and a down.
So now we see it's all about perspective.
It's all in. That's right. Exactly what you take in. You know what I mean? Like, look, here, I'll give you one. What is Swanson TV dinners?
Okay.
They used to come originally in tin things, and you had to put them in the oven and everything else. Did you ever read what was in that stuff?
I was assuming it was food back then.
That was. You're not as old as I am. I had the ones that were out of the oven first. I mean, my dad brought home a whole bunch of them, and look at these things. And my mother was like ready to kill them with them, but hey, she said, okay, go ahead, you can cook them up if you want to. I actually did some research and I found out what was in that stuff. And when I say, and you've heard me say it even on the show, when I die, all I have to do is just stand me in the corner and I'll be fine. You don't have to bury me. They don't have to do anything.
You won't decompose.
There's enough chemicals in this body, it won't even know. Decompose, forget about it. That's out of the question. But I mean, it's because of where we came from. And the reason why we don't get that sick, I mean, if we do get sick, it's only going to be once. That's going to be it. God, see you. It's going to be one of those kind of things. But there's so many people out there now that, I mean, I even see in work and things. 20 years old, 25 years old, this hurt, that hurt, the other thing hurts. They got this, they got that, they got the other thing, they're taking pills, all this medical stuff and everything else. I said, dude, hey, listen, if you're going to do something like that, tell me what you got, how you got it. And I said, let me get in touch with somebody for you and I'll get back to you. If you accept what I say, maybe you'll feel better. If you don't, hey, we didn't lose anything.
At least you shared. Yep.
Yeah, we just shared.
Beautiful.
So,
always
and if
good,
so I taking that during the day, you both go, huh?
What? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, sugar nut. Always good, brother.
Something like that. All right. So
lots of love.
We are going to. Oh, I love going out of here like this. He's my man. All right, everybody out there, listen very, very carefully. This show is here in 2 weeks from right now. So, if we want to really, really put a date on it, we could. That's going to be May the 30th. And we'll be here to see you on Tuesday. God bless y'all. I'm Charles.